Welcome to the Connections from the Green from the Zurich Classic here in New Orleans. I am Farah Rehman. I'm the head of business execution for Zurich Covermore, and I'm joined by Robert Dudacek, who is the CEO of Franklin Madison. Robert, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
This is my first time at the Classic. I don't believe it's yours. How have you enjoyed it so far? What are some of your favorite parts of it?
Um, so we were here last year, which was fantastic. Rory McIlroy win last year. Hopefully this year he will have some success like he did at
I
the
hope so.
Masters. I think Shane was carrying him a little bit yesterday, so we'll see how today turns out. But we love New Orleans. We love
It's a
the
lovely place.
city. We love the food. The people are fantastic, and certainly the golf is another great reason for us to like New Orleans.
That's wonderful. I have now had bread pudding 3 times in the last 24 hours, and I'm still not sick of it. So there is something about the food
I've
in
only
the
had it
city.
once so far. I've got to catch up.
You're behind, a little behind, but that's okay. So I know, Robert, we've been working together now for a couple of years, our accident and health team and you all. It's been a wonderful relationship so far. I know that we have grown together over the last year. Can you talk a little bit about why you chose Zurich to partner with?
Sure. So Franklin Madison is an insurance marketer and administrator, and we work with hundreds of banks and credit unions to run their insurance programs for them. These are long-term contracts, and so what we need is a good, stable partner that we can grow with. And Zurich's really provided that between the financial stability, the strength of the company, I think their commitment to the markets that we serve. I would even say the innovation and responsiveness, which normally isn't something you would give
In
to
the
an
insurance
insurance
industry.
carrier. But I think really the X factor in all of it is the people between yourself, David, Chris, Ron, Rico, Catherine. The entire team is great. And as you know from our team, they really appreciate everything that you do. To us, that makes the biggest difference on the success of our program.
Well, I know I had the benefit of spending time with your team last year, and it was wonderful just to see how Franklin Madison is set up, how you operate, and the people were equally wonderful. I think it's been a great relationship on both sides, and it's one of our favorite places to
Oh,
visit.
great. Well, and
Um,
it's been successful financially for
it
both of
sure
us as
has.
well. So
Yes,
that
it
always
has.
helps. Yeah.
So I know that our focus really is on healthcare on both of us. We've seen rising healthcare costs over and over again. Deductibles are on the rise. People are struggling, and the gap is kind of growing by the day in how people manage it. Can you talk a little bit about how your solutions help people meet their needs for financial help for healthcare?
Of course, and Zurich is a great partner on that part of it. But as you mentioned, consumers, there's a trend for consumers to be responsible for more of their own healthcare costs, whether it's the co-pays, out-of-pocket expenses, more people taking the high deductible healthcare plans. I think one of the benefits out of that is that people are better consumers of their healthcare. They understand what the costs are. They look for ways that they can mitigate the costs. And in addition to offering products that have death benefits, we offer through Zurich programs that offer benefits in event of hospitalization, injury, emergency room treatment. Um, and as long as we're providing those programs to consumers in a very transparent way, an easy and affordable way to get it, I think consumers can be benefiting from it. And based on the consumer response we've seen so far, I think we're on the right
We're on the
track.
right track. And I
So
mean, you mentioned transparency. And so I know one of the things that has always interested me about Franklin Madison, and Zurich is similar, is we really use data and consumer insights to help drive how we educate and how are we transparent. And I found we've invested in a couple of consumer studies to understand what is it that they need to know to be able to make a good decision about supplemental health. You all are very data driven, which I find fascinating. Can you talk a little bit about that?
sure. I think there's two parts of it from the data side. One is how we can use the creative process to be able to educate the consumers, because that's number one. And we use an approach that we try to think of the consumer's perspective of what's in it for me. So everything that we do from a marketing perspective and engagement perspective, we look at four key items. One is we want to tell them what it is right away. We don't try to hide behind the fact we're selling an insurance. We want them to know why it's going to benefit them. So what's in it for me, how much it's going to cost, and how do I get it? We feel with having those components put together, it's going to allow a consumer to make the best and most informed decision. Um, from a data perspective, it's interesting you talk about that because I was thinking about it and I thought, well, remember the old days of marketing? And I thought, well, really, that was only about 2 to 3 years ago, the
The
old
old
days
days
of
were
marketing,
2 to 3 days. Yeah, that's
where
right.
Franklin Madison works with hundreds of partners in the financial institution space. And so we would get a file from them for a particular product. And our goal would be to model that to find, well, who would be a likely buyer of that product? And with the growth of our product set, especially with Zurich, multiple channels that we're doing online, offline, the availability of data and the computing powerhouse we have, we've kind of turned that upside down. And so now when we get a file from a client of ours or a partner, we're instead looking to see for each individual consumer what's the best product and how can we sell it to them. And I think in the end, it provides a more relevant product for them. And then our programs are obviously much more effective that way
Successful.
too.
Yeah. And you're
Yeah.
meeting their needs way more accurately than you probably could have a few years ago or
And
many, many years ago.
exactly. Exactly.
So I know another part of kind of just easing the financial burden of healthcare, which is what we're both in the business of doing, is giving back to communities as well. And so Zurich is the title sponsor of the Zurich Classic, which is a PGA Tour event that benefits children in New Orleans through the children's hospitals and mental health initiatives. What are some ways that Franklin Madison is giving back to the community?
Yeah, I just want to give kudos to Zurich for their community support here in New Orleans, even during COVID. I know that they continue their support. And I had the great opportunity to be at St. Michael's Special School today and see firsthand
Yes, how
how
was
Zurich's
that?
incredible, heartwarming. It centers you to see how the wonderful work that's
Yeah,
happening in those great kids. So thank you to Zurich for that
that's
support.
great.
At Franklin Madison, we take community responsibility very seriously as well. We do so at a local level, a department level. We do it in partnership with the banks and credit unions we work with. Corporately, we really focus on some of the fundamental needs of housing security and food security. We think those are really the important building blocks. From the housing security standpoint, Homes for Our Troops is an
Oh, that's
organization we support.
wonderful.
For those that aren't familiar with it, Homes for Our Troops uh, builds and provides adaptive homes for disabled veterans. And so they can live independently for them and their families. In addition to having that freedom, studies have shown that having that anchor, having that home, helps them be more successful with their education, with their financials, their
And their health.
employment, and helps the family overall.
Yes.
And then the second on the food security side is Food for America, which is Feeding America, which is the largest organization that provides to food banks, food pantries, and meal programs. In my home state of Arizona, it's St. Mary's Food Bank is one of the local ones, and then of course here it's Second Harvest of New Orleans. That's very active.
That's
So
wonderful.
yeah,
I think again, that's just a common value that we share along the way, and it's really great to have relationships with Franklin Madison, and I know it's been a great couple of years. I'm looking forward to what we do next.
yeah,
Thanks
that's
for
great.
joining us today,
Well,
Robert.
I actually have a question for you before you
Yes,
move on from that.
yes,
Um, so, we've done a lot of business that we've done together, and Franklin Madison has evolved even in that time frame. This week, we announced our Franklin Madison Direct Division. Press release went out yesterday. You've been here. You may
exciting.
not have seen that. But I know that there's been a lot of changes at Zurich as well. And
There
wondering
has.
if you could share some of those and how those benefit Franklin Madison, our
Yes,
clients, and
yeah.
our customers.
So Zurich has entered its new strategic cycle, and one of the big focuses for us is our retail business and our protection business. And that's actually not just in the US, but globally. They really want to grow that business. They want to deepen our customer loyalty. They want to meet our customer needs, as we talked about, in a different way. And so Zurich Covermore, which is a new part of Zurich, is really bringing together some of our existing businesses, like our accident and health business in the US, our global leisure travel business, and putting it together to meet consumer solutions a little bit more broadly. And what is really cool about that is that it gives us access to non-insurance services that we can use with you for your customers to really kind of differentiate what you have to offer. So we now have access to cyber protection, device protection. We have access to wellness apps, which fits very, very well, as well as telehealth services. And so there's just some really great connectivity, and we're excited about bringing that value to you so that you can bring it to your customers in the future.
I know. When I talked to my team in preparation of our meetings this week, they were telling me all the exciting
Yes.
things we have happening. So
Yeah.
really look forward
Great
to
future
that.
together.
We
Yeah.
definitely do.
Thank you for
So
joining us today, Robert.
thank you for having us. Appreciate it.